Hey, you dastardly bards and bardettes. Welcome back to I Cast Vicious Mockery. I'm Austin.
I'm tired.
Me too. Today was a doozy of a setup. I don't know if you've noticed, but we're looking different. We got our flume.
Plump.
We have a bunch of dice in case we need to make a decision.
Yep.
And my wife's yarn
And the dice
is lit up.
I want you to know the dice.
Yeah.
You have to zoom in on whatever you're watching this on. You'll have to zoom in because the numbers that are face up are all very significant and they have a lot of meaning. And you have to.
Guys, get ready for our AR game.
It's part of the experience to try to sort of decode what's happening with the dice situation.
I do see
here.
3 D8s right next to each other that are all on a 4.
Well, no hints, please.
Okay, I won't start around this area. Anyway.
All right.
We'll be looking forward to your theories on the subreddit.
Right. Okay. So,
yeah. No, we've been rearranging the craft room. This is my wife's craft room. We don't have a studio. I don't have like a place. This is my wife's craft room. So when it gets rearranged, and that's just how it be.
But also, this is better.
It's a better setup.
It happens to be that way.
Yep. It just conveniently worked out like that.
Yeah.
So, and I think it might sound better. I get the feeling.
Oh, sure.
That it sounds a little better.
Well, we'll find out, I guess.
As long as it doesn't mess up like it did the other times today.
It's fine.
Look, I don't even know why this setup was so hard today. Because we didn't change anything.
We're gonna bring you behind the scenes for a second here. Yeah. It happens every time.
Every time
we go to set up, we do. Well, Austin does all of it, but he's like, he does every. I don't see any difference.
All the stuff is the same.
It's all the same. Sets it up all the same, and then we do a test recording just to make sure.
And it never works.
And it's like terrible. It like sounds awful, and we're like, why? What? Why does it sound so bad? And then he, for an hour and a half, goes through and
just fiddles around with everything until it's exactly the same as how it was
before, and then eventually it just works. Eventually it works.
Yeah.
For no discernible reason.
I think if I knew a lot about how the equipment works and how the software works and everything like that, I would be able to get it to consistently start up the same. That said, ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. And you know what? As much as like the software and hardware of our recording setup is sort of like the main antagonist of this show, I wanted to talk about villains, bad guys in D&D, you know?
Yeah.
So I just this just kind of like occurred to me earlier today.
Yep.
So I guess this isn't like a heavily researched thing, but I do know a bit about how stories are told, and in particular in video games, but also in like novels and things like that.
So this is the Shadow the Hedgehog episode.
It is the Shadow the Hedgehog episode, man. Because, you know,
is he the hero? Is he the villain? Why not both?
You decide, really.
Yeah.
You could take the neutral path.
Yeah.
If you've never played Shadow the Hedgehog,
listen.
The video game.
Shadow the Hedgehog, guys.
You're missing out.
The video game.
You're missing out.
You're missing out.
I know what you're thinking. You're like, man, you know, it would be great if Sonic the Hedgehog was a game where you could shoot guns. Mm-hmm. Shadow the Hedgehog.
That's what it's called.
Guns.
It has guns. It has aliens.
Aliens, yeah.
And people. Space. Earth.
Earth. Eggman is in it.
Yeah.
Other Sonic characters are in it, I think. you run into, you can't play as anybody else.
No,
You play as Shadow.
Right.
Man, that game is such an enigma to me. Like who greenlit that game? So weird.
It's pretty much the best Sonic game ever, though.
I loved it as a kid. Like unironically,
Dude, I remember like we would sit and like read through the strategy guide for it.
Yes, I had the strategy guide for it.
And we'd look at all the different branches that the levels could take, because there were different levels depending on if you chose to be good or bad.
Right, and I played through all of them.
I only played through the good ones, because how could I be a bad person?
I wanted to clear everything. I went through every path so that I could play every level at least once. And let me tell you, that game, it's got a lot of content in it. Like there's a lot of stuff you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Because you going through any individual path, it's not long, but it's not like a short game really. Going through just one path, and there's like 10 different endings or something like that.
There are a bunch, yeah.
It's a lot.
How many different endings are there in D&D?
Infinite.
That's no, he's in Sonic Forces.
He's in Forces, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, here's
Is he a good villain?
Infinite?
Yeah.
I never played Sonic Forces, but from what I've seen of it, no.
Is there a good villain in Sonic the Hedgehog?
Oh, are you kidding me? Other than Eggman?
No, including Eggman. Is he a good villain?
No. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Ooh, Matt spilling out all those hot, fresh takes all over the floor.
I never saw the movie, so I don't know who was it that did
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. I don't know if Jim Carrey's a good villain or not.
I've been told it's literally the best movie of the century
by one of the kids we used to teach.
I don't know, probably. Pretty much everybody says that.
Yeah, one of my former students loves Sonic the Hedgehog. His favorite thing. But what I want to know from you, is just kind of like off the top of your head, what are some characteristics of a villain that you find to be memorable in any media?
The first thing I thought was Baps.
Cool. like Lady Dimitrescu?
No.
Okay.
Because her teeth are gross or something. I don't know. Something about her was off-putting to me.
She's really tall.
That's fine.
I think she might be taller than your older brother.
I'm pretty sure she's 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
I think that's where so yes.
Something like that.
She is taller than my older brother.
Sorry, that's just one of my favorite Game Grumps bits. They talk about her in like an episode, and it's just infinitely funny to me because they're talking about how she's 9 feet tall, and like people on the internet are like, "Whoa, really? Is she 9 feet tall?" And they're like, "Yeah, she's a fictional character. She's made up. She could be whatever height they tell you that she is." So yeah, she's 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
Anyway,
memorable traits of a villain. None. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen a villain who I've been like, oh, that's well, okay, so let's look at somebody. Okay, Darth Vader is black.
Okay.
All over. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I can get you.
Yeah. Well, you can't see his face. That's memorable. I guess like the whole mask deal. So like a sense of anonymity, like you can't know who this is. I think they
Okay.
did a similar thing with the Fire Lord, like near the beginning of Avatar, The Last
Yes, because he was
Airbender.
always behind the fire.
Right. They
The
never
firewall.
showed him, so he was just this like scary, like crazy, strong person. But then later on in the show, they kind of just make you realize he was like strong firebender, but also just like a person,
Right.
like regular person. And as you know, as Aang realized, it doesn't matter right now. That's spoiler territory, I guess. And it's not important for this. What's the
Well, so Firelord Ozai, I
wait,
think, was a good villain. Yeah,
yeah.
in
Um,
in Avatar. More so.
okay. Codename Kids Next Door.
Okay.
Number five's sister, whatever her name was.
Okay. Yes. Well, I don't remember her name, but yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a memorable villain, sort of. Like, obviously, I don't remember her name.
Because of her battle ready armor.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
no, no,
Okay.
no.
Oh, okay.
Because she just essentially, like mm, her background is that she was a Kids Next Door agent,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
became, one of the best ones, and then because she was 13, she was decommissioned. I don't know if you guys know how that works in Codename Kids Next Door. Like, listen, you got to get in a real deep lore here. It's not that deep. She was decommissioned.
Yeah.
So she's still formidable, but she's basically just the better version of exactly like more technically superior version. She can fight better, like stuff like that. And she's better equipped compared to the Kids Next Door. But she's missing the thing that makes them always win, which is being a
Teamwork.
kid.
Oh, being a kid.
Yeah. Kidness.
Kidness.
Yeah.
Like how in Skyrim you can't kill the kids.
Exactly.
So she's missing the plot armor that the rest of them have.
Yeah, no, it's their like sort of, yeah, it's like they haven't been crushed by the world. And they have a sort of sense of
Okay.
innocence, and at the same time they yeah, they like always believe in themselves in a way. I don't know. That's so that she kind of is lacking in whatever it is that makes them victorious all the time, but she is like a superior, just in every way superior version of them. Other than that, who's a good villain? I'm trying to think of other villains. I can't think of all that many good ones. Let's look at one who's maybe not so good. Oh, you know what? Wait, no. Okay, so Frieza from Dragon Ball Z
Yep. Okay. Frieza. Sure.
is a memorable villain.
He is.
I
But
don't know why.
I think it boils down a lot of the time to his character design
Yeah,
and his voice
yeah.
in the English
In the
dub, at
English one
least.
and in the Japanese one,
Is it good in Japanese too? I don't know.
it's a librarian. It sounds like an ancient librarian lady.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't really remember Frieza's whole deal. Like what he wanted to destroy Saiyans? Is that what it was? Or
He kind of just wanted to take over the galaxy. I don't know what region of space he wanted to take over, but he did have. So he had a grudge against Saiyans in particular.
okay, he had a grudge against them. Okay, I knew there was something about Saiyans with
Yeah.
Frieza. Okay.
Because well, what happens is it's like foretold that he'll be killed by a Saiyan essentially.
Okay.
And he's like, nah, I'm just gonna kill them all. And then he proceeds to kill them all. But I guess some of them made it out safely.
Wow. Yeah, kind of like the Superman thing.
Yep.
I guess Goku really is a lot like Superman, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just the better version of Superman.
Better version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of. I don't disagree with you there. Okay, so you've touched on like two things that make a good villain, I think. One is it's like the concept that I could become this. Like the hero and the villain are only maybe like one significant event in their life removed from each other
Mm-hmm.
and otherwise similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a cliche, I think some people think, but it really works. Like you and I aren't so different kind of trope
Mm-hmm.
thing. I mean, say like having your villain say that is kind of dumb, but showing that
Yeah.
is compelling.
Like Darth Vader being Luke's father.
Yeah.
Sorry for the spoilers,
Oh
whatever.
no.
Um, but
um
yeah, like that. Suddenly he has this mask and he's like this scary dude. But then all of a sudden it's just like, oh wait a second, like
yeah,
he's just a person who turned into this thing.
exactly. Exactly. And then with Frieza, um I think there's like a hubris there then. Cuz
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, that's sort of like the Thanos. A lot of people really like Thanos, like
Mm-hmm.
for and that's kind of part of his deal. I think is the hubris. People really like those villains because they like to watch the moment when they lose.
Mm. Yeah,
You,
I guess that makes sense.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's sort of cathartic because
Mm-hmm.
people generally don't like arrogance, and that sort of thing. Um, some people though like to see those kinds of villains win.
Mm-hmm.
And they do both. Like usually a villain that has hubris will win, but like at the beginning and then ultimately lose,
Mm-hmm.
which happened with Frieza too.
Right.
Because didn't he? I forget exactly what happened there. Did he kill Goku?
Not quite.
Okay.
Um.
Did he kill anybody?
Yep.
Okay, he
Well,
killed.
obviously he killed Krillin.
Well, yeah, everybody kills Krillin.
Yeah. I think Frieza blew him up though.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure like from the inside explosion
Cool.
into confetti.
And then they used the Dragon Balls to get him back, right?
Yeah. Yeah, eventually they did. I think it might have been a year later.
A year later. Wow.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that happens in Dragon Ball Z. Your friends just die for a year. And you can only call them on the god. Like they touch the one god's back and then they can like communicate telepathically.
You see, I never was into Dragon Ball Z, so that doesn't even sound familiar to me at all.
Yeah, no, this is how it all makes perfect sense. Don't worry.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
Well, it was all about, I mean, it was based on the uh Journey to the West.
At least Dragon Ball was. I don't know
Right.
where it diverges from
Well,
that, if it does or what. Because guess who hasn't seen or read any normal adaptation of Journey to the West? This guy.
yeah, neither have I, but I've heard like a ton of people say that that's what it's based off of.
Yeah, well, he's named the same thing as the main character in it and
Right,
stuff like that. Yeah.
Son Goku. Goku. Uh so okay. So if I think of villains
Right.
that are memorable,
Right.
and not so much for me, but I think a lot of kids growing up right now will feel that way about Thanos. I mentioned earlier. And I think not me just because I'm old enough now where I'm not impressionable in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the Marvel movies, but I don't know that he'll really stand out to me as being like a big villain. More so to me, uh, the Joker in The Dark Knight
Yeah.
stands out to me as being a good villain. And there is a certain way that the Joker presents himself in that movie that makes him memorable at the very least. Right? You've seen that movie, right?
Yep.
So there's because he's sort of there are movies that are like the bad guy's like an anarchist, right? There are plenty of movies like that.
Mhm.
Can you think of any off the top of your head? I can't think of any off the top of
I
my
feel
head.
like one of the like the Far Cry games are kind of about stuff like that. Um, so that's not a movie, but they're
Right, right.
um,
Yeah. So
well, at least all right, Avatar: Legend of Korra. Zahir is an anarchist.
right.
Like straight up, just they just basically picked political ideologies for each season, and then that was like what the
What the
bad guy was.
main bad guy was,
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, there are definitely other ones. Um, I feel like bad guys in Mad Max would be, but I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen Mad Max
But
either.
it's a perfect place for anarchists.
Sure is. So anarchy is kind of like um there are probably different ways to do it depending on how you want to approach
Mhm.
something like a film or video game or television show, whatever. But I think that I think that w- what one pitfall of anarchy, interestingly enough, is they sometimes try to give the character a reason behind it.
Mhm.
But I think that giving them a reason behind wanting to do it that way, or a reason behind their push toward anarchy, sort of weakens it. I think it was a strength of the Joker that
Like whenever you ask his backstory, he'd be like, "Oh, I'll tell you," and then just make something up.
right, it's always different,
Mhm.
right? So you know that he's just,
At least one of these is a lie. Probably all of them.
probably all of them. Exactly. And he's not concerned with anything except for just creating mayhem.
Well, that to me is the difference between a sympathetic villain and a force of nature type villain.
Yeah, exactly. He's like a force of nature type villain.
Yeah,
That's a good way to
and
describe
those
it.
the ones that are forces of nature, I tend to feel more strongly about. Like
Yeah.
I usually like them better.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't like them, but I usually like the stories with force of nature villains. Like, but that's only because I like the story of somebody overcoming literally impossible odds.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
Like there is nothing you can do, but you do it.
Right. Um exactly. And that's what makes spoilers for the Dark Knight maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's even a concern at this point, but um that's what makes the scene with the two ships so compelling in the Dark Knight. Because Batman doesn't really do anything to save those people.
Mhm.
They save themselves
Mhm.
by both ships refusing to blow each other up.
Mhm.
Um, and I guess Batman makes it in time to save them from because I think they were going to blow up anyway
Yeah.
if neither ship blew the other one up.
Yeah, I think
It's like a prisoner's dilemma.
they were told, yeah, they were told that if they would blow up the other ship, they would be spared, although that was a lie,
Yeah.
clearly, because it
Yes.
was Joker.
Hmm.
But if if neither ship blew up the other one, then they have a time limit.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Right. And so it sort of it sort of showed that Batman had become bigger than himself because he was sort of the inspiration for these people not to give in to
Hmm.
the Joker,
Right.
in his fear mongering there. There were a lot of great things. I mean, everybody uh touts? No, lauds. I don't know. What's the one that means good?
Um,
Is tout
nothing is good.
is tout bad? I don't remember.
Tout's fine. Tout's good. It's like it's.
I'm thinking
This isn't a linguistics podcast.
it isn't. Are you sure? Because I'm going to ask you what word I'm looking for. What's the one that means that you praise somebody for their accomplishments?
Laud was right for that.
Laud.
Tout is like it's similar to what's the like when you talk about your sponsor for today, Stitch Fix.
That's where I got this shirt.
Yeah, then you're touting like Stitch Fix, which by the way, that is where he did get that shirt. This is a real sponsor spot.
It's not a real sponsor spot.
Why is it not? Wait, what's wrong? What's not real about
They're
it?
not paying us.
It's a free sponsor spot.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They're paying us for free to talk about your brand new Stitch Fix shirt.
I like this shirt quite a bit. Anyway, anyway, Heath Ledger gets a lot of praise.
Yeah.
Rest
He's
in
lauded
peace,
for it.
For his performance as the Joker, that was huge too. I mean, he did an excellent job. And I'm not trying to diminish his accomplishments, but the writing of that movie was also very good, and the directing too, which was, I believe, both by Christopher Nolan. He did both. He wrote and directed that movie. Some people would say that Christopher Nolan's overrated, but that movie in particular is very good.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, sure, if you're into that kind of thing.
Well, I am into that kind of thing. So, so Joker, great villain. Zuko is a great example of like a redemption arc.
Okay.
And I think more so than Firelord Ozai, I really think
what about Frieza's redemption arc?
Does Frieza have a redemption arc? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, he has two. Let me tell you.
Okay, tell me about these two redemption arcs. Yeah, please.
So in Resurrection F, the movie.
What? Oh, okay. It's a movie.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that?
And the arc in Dragon Ball Super. Frieza is brought back from the dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then we find out that his entire life he had taken it easy and relied only on his natural talent, and he had never trained a day in his life.
Okay.
So he started training.
Oh.
Like real hard.
Cool.
And he basically became a Super Saiyan.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's like a redemption arc. Well, then they had to, of course, fight him and kill him because otherwise he would have killed everybody. But,
how is that a redemption arc?
It shows a change in his character.
Okay.
He went from just, he went from being a lazy person to being one of hard work and effort.
Sure.
Anyway, he later, there's a tournament arc where all the different universes are fighting to survive, and Frieza is chosen as one of the combatants from his and Goku and all of their universe. And at some point, he does like an energy blast and transfers energy into Goku or something. And then gets knocked off the stage or whatever and loses, but he doesn't die because he's already dead the entire time. I'm pretty sure.
Are they all just dead the entire time?
No, just Frieza.
Oh, just Frieza because he was already
because he was
dead.
just killed. Yeah, they just re-killed him.
They just killed him again.
They just did that again.
Wait, how did he come back the first time?
The first time, like one of his subordinates got Dragon Balls or something and wished him back.
Man, that shows.
Or he busted out of hell. I don't remember.
People can do that in that show. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Goku can. Nobody else really can.
Goku can, but nobody else does.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are definitely stronger people than Goku when he busted out of hell who are stuck in hell forever. I don't know exactly how. except that I guess he didn't get killed and sent there. He fell into hell.
Oh?
Yeah, he's like on Snake Way trying to get back to being alive, and he falls into hell by accident for a little while. He like hangs out down there, and they're all like, "Hey, what's up? We gotta beat you up now because you're in hell." And he's like, "No, let's be friends. I'm Goku."
I thought that I vaguely remember this. He falls down there and then he like meets all of the people he killed. Doesn't he?
That's later.
Oh, that's another
Yeah.
time.
But yes, I think that does happen too. Yeah.
Oh man. And doesn't he come back to life once, but they're like, all right, but only for a little bit.
Yep. Yep. They give him 24 hours and then he charges up too hard and his time runs out faster.
Okay.
Yeah. They're like 24 hours and he's like, all right, I'm going to power up real hard then. And they're like, wait. It's 24 hours of normal time. I think if you're stronger, it's less.
For some reason.
Otherwise, he'll beat the bad guy right now and this arc won't be able to go on for any longer. We'll never be able to get him to fuse with Vegeta. Because that's right. He comes back to life again before the end of this arc.
You see, I can't even say like these aren't spoilers for people who have never seen it because you're not gonna remember any of this stuff. Like
you have no clue which series I'm even talking about right now.
that could happen anywhere at any time. Like this kind of stuff happens so much in that show that like who even knows when that happens or in which series? Well, you do. I don't. I sure as heck don't. You know what I found out recently?
What?
I might have told you this already. I looked into getting the entirety of the Naruto series manga. Turns out on Amazon it would cost just around $500 to get everything. That's not bad.
That is not bad. Is it just the like an initial tankobon or whatever, like the small ones, like single volumes, or is it 3 sets?
It would be three sets of the individual volumes.
Oh, okay.
There's.
We'll talk about it. We'll buy some Naruto after the show.
Well, I'm not going to buy it yet, but but I will.
We'll all buy some. Everybody, let's all go out together. We'll buy some Narutos.
Yeah. Nope. Redemption arc is what I said before, and I was also going to talk about
Zuko.
No. Well, he was the
redemption arc, but we got a better one.
That's fine. Well, sure. If you want to put it that way, I don't have the energy to argue with you about that right now. Oh man, I'm blanking out so hard right now. His sister. Azula, thank you.
The girl Zuko. Yeah.
Yeah. She's a great villain too. Because they sort of flesh her out. Well, first of all, her introduction is great. The first time that you see her, like you don't even see her. She has that conversation with the ship captain. You remember this? You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
About who commands the ship and all that. That's pretty great. He's a great introduction. And the series does a great job of showing how her. Again, it's like the one thing when a villain has one thing that they value the most, and it's taken away from them. That's sort of like the apex of it, right? That's sort of what feels really satisfying. So with the Joker, his one thing is that he wanted to prove to Batman that people are fundamentally selfish and out for themselves, because like in any situation, when given the choice, they'll throw somebody else under the bus to save themselves. That's what he wanted to prove. And then he was proven wrong. And Azula's whole thing was that she thought that she could rule over everybody like her father. She learned from her father, using nothing but fear. And as long as people were afraid of her, they would do what she says. And then she was proven wrong.
Right.
Later in the series. So I think that in D&D,
right,
if you you don't even have to think about all of these things. But if you take just one of those things that makes a good villain and you insert that into a character and then you can't always control what happens in a combat situation and things like that, but try to get them to escape before they're killed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that recurring villains in D&D make it interesting.
I think in general, a lot of combat encounters or almost all combat encounters go until the enemies are completely dead. All of them. Every time.
Usually.
Yeah.
They do, but
I mean, I think that's the most I would say that's probably 80% of encounters. Yeah. Is like the party kills every villain completely. Or, like all the bad guys completely.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the next most common thing is the party kills all the bad guys completely and somebody in the party is killed. And then the next most common after that is, and this is now a tiny percentage of battles, the party has to get away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's even if you just set them up against something that's too big for them anyway. Like literally that just doesn't even happen all that much where they just have to get away. And then the last one, like after that, is the party is winning the fight and then the bad guy gets away. That's so rare, exceedingly rare.
Right. And what made me think of that was campaign 1 of Critical Role. Hey, guess what? You thought I wasn't going to talk about it. Joke's on you. Because one of the most memorable parts of that series, without really saying too much about it, is a character called Anna Ripley, who is sort of like a foil or is personally tied to one of the characters, Percy. She shows up several times in the game, and
like Team Rocket.
Right, exactly.
They're a very memorable villain.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are. Because they take the time to give them character. Mm-hmm. And you see, actually they might be some of the only characters that go through an arc. Really? Because does Ash? I don't think so. At least not for a while.
Well, he loses sometimes, so maybe.
Maybe he does. But Team Rocket goes through sort of an arc. You kind of like care about them.
Yeah.
After a while.
They are the most important characters in the story.
Kind of. Yeah.
In Pokemon, yeah.
Yeah, because Brock and Misty both end up going to do their own thing eventually anyway.
Yeah.
Those characters are always replaced, but Team Rocket is always the same.
Right.
Huh. That's fast. That's a fascinating thought.
Yeah, it's just Ash, Pikachu, and Team Rocket. That's who the story's about.
Exactly. Wait, are Jesse and James and Meowth in the most recent one too? Then the Aloha.
I think so.
The Alola
I don't
region?
know if they try to steal Pikachu or if they just kind of have their own
stuff going on. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Do they stop trying to steal Pikachu after a while? I don't know.
They take breaks sometimes.
That was their big thing.
They always get kind of drawn back. Sometimes during the movies, a lot of the time they would have their own separate subplot.
Yes.
And just be kind of dragged along for the ride.
Right.
Basically to make Ash look super awesome. And then they look like they're stupid.
As always.
So yeah. But I think there are whole movies where Ash never knows that Team Rocket is there. And they might not even know that he's there. And they're just like, oh, we got to survive this somehow. Oh, what are we going to do? And then eventually they probably blast off. I don't know.
Probably.
All right, let's get...
Great villains, though.
Yeah.
You want to put like a Team Rocket in your D&D campaign? Like they can't be killed. Mm-hmm. But when you beat them, they just fly off into the distance. And then you run into them again sometimes. they have some convoluted plot to steal your wizard's familiar or something like that. Wait, hold on. This is a great idea.
Yeah, it is. I think it might be. Oh, dude, no, wait. Keep this in your back pocket because somebody's got a pet Gary.
Oh man.
Yeah, keep this. Keep. Ooh.
Interesting thought.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, in a not so subtle way, you know, what I'm getting at here is also kind of that's one thing that I wanted to try to do in this campaign is to have more of the bad guys try to get away and then come back again when you least expect it. Right? Like you guys know that obviously Ramses is dead.
Actually, I don't know that. I wasn't there for when he died.
Oh, like Liam wasn't there?
Yeah, Liam wasn't there, and neither was I.
You weren't there? Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the session that I missed.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and you know what? Liam wouldn't have asked, and even if somebody told him, wouldn't have listened. Probably.
Yeah, he didn't ask what happened when he was whatever.
Well, I think
in the amulet.
I think a character told you, but
he doesn't know.
But he does. Yeah, he's nothing. But the rest of Ramsey's whole crew is out there somewhere. You know, and everybody I think knows that in the back of their head. But
and I'm like, I would be worried about Acacius Ludo in case anything starts happening with that resistance that he was trying to have the party put down, and they get a little bit too big, and he has to start like taking some actions. I just feel like the party could get dragged into that somehow. And I don't think that he would be happy with them if he sees them again.
Acacius Ludo might be one of my favorite characters I've made so far. That's what I'll say about that. But obviously not every bad thing that you run into will come back, you know, because if everything came back all the time, then it would be sort of dumb.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, that's comic books, you know, that's like that kind of thing where it's just the same over and over and over. Like Superman fights Lex Luthor, Superman fights Lex Luthor, Superman fights Lex Luthor.
Right. Well, I think it's okay if they come back several times.
Well, I meant like,
but
like you get the what's that called, a rogues gallery, right? You've got your rogues gallery, and like, all right, which one of you villains is it this week? You roll a D8 and you just pick, oh, number 1, that's Doc Ock.
Yeah, a rogues gallery is a good way to say it. That's a good comic book thing. And I think that's that can be compelling. It
came up with a villain I like.
Yeah,
the Mandarin.
Oh, yeah.
In Iron Man. Now, I don't know if I like the Mandarin anymore because I think they changed his thing from magic to nanotechnology. But I think he was like a cool, like opposite to Tony Stark, where Tony Stark was all about like technology and he was all about like mysticism and like,
okay, so
their philosophies also were very antithetical.
You're right.
To each other.
So you're talking about a villain as a foil.
Yeah.
A villain that can challenge.
Yeah, like an aluminum foil villain.
Right. Like aluminum foil.
Man. Yeah, like an aluminum foil man.
Iron Man's
villain.
Nemesis.
He's just like Iron Man, but lighter and weaker.
Yeah. And in Britain, they call him Aluminium Man. Right. So like a foil character. Now, a foil doesn't have to be like an antagonist. In fact, a lot of the party in Cataclysmic Rift are foils to each other.
I've got one in your campaign.
Yeah, you sure do.
I don't remember his name right now, but when I see it written, I'll remember it.
I did create foils for you guys. Yes, that is true. That like adventuring party
Mhm.
that you guys run into sometimes, it might not be totally obvious to everybody
Oh, I know who Liam's is.
whose foil is whose, but each of them is supposed to be a foil to
Yeah, Liam's is Citra.
somebody else.
100%.
Unfortunately, though, I've been trying to think of if I could do this or not. I made all of them before Summit joined in,
Oh, yeah.
and I've been thinking this whole time about introducing a new party member into their group too. But then I'm like, well, then it would be obvious who the foil is, you know. But
would it?
But would it be obvious? Well, now it would be for sure.
Well,
So
in that case,
I might not end up doing that at all.
yeah, I was gonna say in that. I don't want to.
You can.
I don't want to give away ideas on this or anything.
Well, you can speculate if you want. I'd be curious to know what you think about who's who. Do you remember all of them? Because it's been a while since you've.
Yeah, let me
seen them all.
I don't know if I remember I don't remember the names of anyone except for Citra, the girl who's with the party right now, whose name I guess I don't remember. Ember.
Yeah.
Sivert.
Yep.
And those are the only three I remember.
Okay, yeah. So
but then there's also Dragonborn guy and Bigman.
Bigman.
That's our guy, Bigman.
Bigman.
Yeah, Bigman, son of the Khan.
So Ember and Citra are with you guys right now. They're the Fire Genasi Paladin and the Tabaxi Rogue,
right?
Respectively. Sivert is the maybe you haven't picked up on it yet. Changeling.
Yeah, I haven't picked up on it, but you can
Blood Hunter.
Spoil the Blood Hunter. Oh,
he's a Blood Hunter. Man, I can't remember their names either. It's been a long time.
I'm telling you, man.
The Dragonborn is a Dragonborn barbarian.
Yep.
There's the Goliath fighter. And wait, is that all of them?
I think that's all of them.
Yeah, that's all of them.
Yeah.
No, there's 7 players, right? So there should be 6 of these guys. Because that's only 5 of them.
I only got 5.
Oh, ha.
Is there? I don't know who's the 6th one.
Irino.
Oh, the monkey.
The monk.
Yeah.
The Kalashtar monk.
I forgot about that one.
Yes. So, well, you'll spend some time with some of the other ones eventually too, but
unless we kill them first.
Okay. If that's what you want to do.
I think I just figured out how to solve your campaign.
Just kill them all?
Yeah.
Well,
every character.
I mean, you're with Ember right now and Citra's nowhere around, so she'd be pretty defenseless if you guys decided you wanted to kill her.
I mean, Gary could do it and nobody has to know.
Gary could not do it by himself.
He could if she was unconscious.
Oh, well, yeah. Then, yes. Then it would be easy.
You don't think that Gary could take Ember? Gary's a knoll, dude.
A challenge rating 1.5 creature against a level 6 character?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
He could take her. He literally has his hands tied behind his back and he can take her. Actually, they might be tied in front of him. I'm not sure.
I don't know either. I just kind of go with it.
Whatever's more convenient for that turn.
Honestly.
That's fine with me.
Sometimes he's muzzled and sometimes he's not. And I don't really pay much attention to when when that happens.
I think he's always muzzled.
He does try to bite. Well, Dissel does remove his muzzle occasionally.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I made that an action or what. Probably not to take it off, but to put it on, it would take at least an action. Yeah.
What if it?
Some kind of
How
check,
come nothing
probably.
takes 2 actions?
Some things take more than 1 action. I don't think
That's not the same as 2 actions.
Nothing takes 2 actions, but I mean, there are things that would take like 10 actions though.
But how come nothing takes 2 actions? I guess there are technically some things that do, like using a smite. No, not a smite. Using certain, like a hex, and then is a hex actually?
No, hex is a bonus action too. Yeah.
Darn it! The Hunter's Mark 1.
Hunter's Mark is a bonus
action too.
Yeah.
Are they all bonus actions? Is everything a bonus action now?
All the stuff that you want to do right before you attack is, yeah. Otherwise, it would be kind of useless. Oh, you know what? If you wanted to give yourself advantage on an attack.
There we go. Okay, no, don't even say it. Don't even say it. Okay, you can say it.
You know what spell I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know.
I don't remember what it's called.
True Strike.
True Strike. Because that's an action.
Yeah.
And then on your next turn, you get advantage. Even though it probably would have been better just to attack both times. That is a dumb spell, though. Wait, can you cast it on other people? I think that's what makes it dumb. I think you can't. I think
it's self. I think
you can only cast it on yourself. That's so stupid.
Because who can use it?
True Strike?
Yeah, who?
Paladins?
I guess. I don't know if they learn it. I think it's a wizard only. I think it's a wizard only.
Isn't it a cantrip?
I don't know.
I'm looking it up. Talk to them while I look it up.
Hey, what? Well, I was gonna talk to you.
Oh, sure.
But okay, yeah, I guess I'll talk to them instead. So tell me what you guys think of the new setup. Do you like that Matt has a keyboard and mouse? And I have a keyboard and mouse? Who's really in control here?
Yeah.
You'll never know.
I'll tell you what. One of us can use it and one of us can't.
Yep.
Okay, so here are the classes that can learn True Strike. First of all, yes, it is a cantrip. Range 30 feet. You can cast it on somebody else.
Oh, okay.
That makes it okay then. Because then you're like, I'll cast this on the fighter, so on their turn they get advantage.
Yeah, and then they use the thing where they can hit like a 19 or 20 and get a crit, and then
boom.
You're basically like, with 2 rolls and a 19 or a 20 as a crit, that basically guarantees a critical hit.
That does not. But
I mean, it's pretty much 100% because that's 4 out of the 20 numbers.
There are 4 classes that can that can learn True Strike: Bard, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard. There you go.
Okay. Hey, you got anything else on there?
I sure do. I'm glad you asked.
What kind of flavor are we talking about today?
The flavor of the week comes to us from user, oh my goodness, 427275.
That is the flavor.
That is the flavor.
427275.
It tastes just like Blue Moon. What does that taste like?
47225. What does what taste like? That number?
Blue Moon.
Blue Moon.
I'm sure you've never had it because it's sweet and you hate that stuff, but
isn't it an alcohol?
Well, yes, there is a beer called Blue Moon.
Wait, what's the other thing called Blue Moon?
It's a flavor of ice cream.
What?
Yes.
What? How can you make moon ice cream?
It does not taste like the beer if you're wondering.
Does it taste like the moon?
No, but we actually, it's one of those things where if you look it up, like people disagree about what they think it tastes like.
Oh,
but,
like Anna's soap.
Have you tasted Anna's soap?
No, I think it would probably taste like soap, but it smells like how people think Fruit Loops smell.
Well, that's so funny that you say that because Fruit Loops is one of the flavors that people say Blue Moon tastes like to them.
Well, guess what? Fruit Loops do not smell like how you think they do.
Probably not.
If you go and you put your face in a box of Fruit Loops and smell it, you'll be like, oh, that's not it.
No,
that's not fruity. That's not loopy.
I got.
But if you smell her soap, you'll be like, Fruit Loops. That smells like some Fruit Loops. I think I want to eat that soap. And then you try it and it tastes like soap. But again, I did not try it. So I don't know that it tastes like soap, but it does.
So in Pennsylvania, you can't get any sort of liquor or anything like that they don't sell in the state-run liquor stores.
Right.
I know you know this, but if anybody from out of state were to watch this, they might not know that.
If only.
Pennsylvania has some strict laws. So you can't get this anymore. Well, you can order it online, but they don't have it in the stores anymore. But Three Olives, which is a vodka brand, had this vodka called Loopy, which tasted exactly like Fruit Loops.
I remember you telling me about that one.
And it did. It really tasted exactly.
Did it smell like how people think Fruit Loops smell?
No, it smelled like it smelled like how people would assume Fruit Loops would smell. Yes.
But not how they actually smell, which is not good. They don't smell good.
You're making me. I'm about to go buy some Fruit Loops just to smell them.
Listen, guys, today's episode is sponsored by Fruit Loops.
But just to finish my thought from earlier, it turns out Blue Moon ice cream is made of a combination of blue raspberry and vanilla, and that's all it is. and for some reason, people think that it's all these like almonds. People are talking about like crazy things, but all it is blue raspberry and vanilla mixed together.
Guys, come on.
Blue raspberry isn't even a real flavor. Because blue raspberries don't exist in nature. It's completely synthetic.
Yeah, isn't that just the name they give to like the default blue flavor of stuff?
It's the blue, exactly. It's blue flavor. It is
the blue.
Guys, they're tricking you. Blue raspberries aren't real. They don't exist. Anyway, but man, oh man, does that flavor really taste blue? 427275 has this very nice one action cantrip like True Strike called Arc Strike. That has a range of self, is concentration up to a minute, and can be learned by artificers, sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards. You also have to have a melee weapon that is worth at least 1 silver piece that you are holding in your hand. So you brandish the weapon that is used in the spell's casting, and you make a melee attack with it against a creature within 5 feet of you. And if you hit, the creature suffers a weapon attack, normal damage and effects, but also you can cause a bolt of lightning to arc from the target to a different creature of your choice that you can see within 15 feet of it. And that creature takes lightning damage equal to your spellcasting ability modifier. At 5th level, they also take an extra 1d6 lightning damage. At 11th level.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering. If it's character level.
It increases, yes. And then at 17th level, it increases again. Well, you can't cast cantrips at higher levels.
Oh, I forgot it was a cantrip. Yep.
So, yeah. Anyway, I'm interested. I don't know if all lightning spells can do that or how many lightning spells can, but it makes sense for lightning to be able to arc.
I haven't seen one.
That between targets, don't you think? I'm
sure that there is one. I just haven't seen one.
Right. But that was kind of short. I want to give you this other one because this other one's something that I think you'll like it.
Mm-hmm.
This is a second level transmutation spell called Nerf.
All right, wait, I know what it does.
Yep. What is it? What? Yeah.
It turns them into a nerf herder. It takes any regular person.
Watch your mouth. We're gonna have to edit that.
Sorry.
out.
No, I'm gonna keep saying it. So just get used to it, kids. Grow your ears up a little bit here. No, so it takes any regular person and just makes them insufferable. So that anyone who talks to them or interacts with them in any way would immediately agree that that dude is a real nerf herder. So yeah, that's what it does.
Let me just tell you, this comes to us from user Harlequizzical.
Okay.
So this is a concentration spell, up to a minute, right?
Mhm.
Artificer, Bard, Sorcerer, Wizard. So what you do is you summon a harmless cylinder made of soft, bouncy material. All right?
Yeah.
A nice little soft, bouncy cylinder. That cylinder is immediately launched at a non-magical object of your choice. The object must be able to fit in a 5x5 cube. When this cylinder contacts the object absorbs the thing, the cylinder, and is transmuted into the same type of material as the cylinder until the spell ends. So I think this is kind of complicated the way it's worded.
Yeah.
But
you turn something into a giant nerf dart.
Right.
Or small.
Like a foamy thing.
Yeah.
But basically you target the application you would assume this would be used for is you target like a weapon that somebody is holding,
mm-hmm.
and you try to nerf it.
Yeah.
So that it.
Yes.
You're right. Now, if the object is something that is being worn or carried, then the creature makes a dexterity saving throw. Right. So
mm-hmm.
It makes sense, right?
Absolutely standard for like if you're trying to snatch something from somebody's hand or whatever. Yep.
Right. So any weapon that is hit by the projectile can no longer deal damage or launch projectiles. So like you can aim at a bow or something like that, or like a sword, can't do damage anymore. If you hit someone's armor with it, it no longer grants its user armor class calculation. So it's basically like they're not wearing armor at all anymore.
Yep.
Bottles, component pouches, things like that cannot be opened. Arcane foci can no longer be used to cast spells. And the DM's discretion on effects on other things.
Cool.
Second level spell, by the way.
Yeah, I think I liked my version better.
Fourth level or higher, though, you can launch an additional cylinder.
There we are.
Every 2 levels above second.
So you can nerf 4 things at once at 8th level.
Yeah, 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Or 5 at 10th level.
I'm doing it. All right, can we use that one in your campaign? All right, I'll just say yeah. That's probably a yes. I'm going to go with that.
I mean, I'm not against most things, really.
What about hit really hard? Can I use that?
No.
What was it? Is that even? I don't know if I called it that. Like, whatever I called it.
Yeah, that is what you called it. I think. What is it? 10d20 or something like that.
100d.
100d. No, they were
100d20. Yeah,
they were
like
d20s
that.
for sure.
That was just the damage, though. It's not like it's guaranteed to hit.
What was your modifier to hit?
Plus 20 or something.
Natural 1. Ah, man, that's only a 21 to hit.
Okay, so if I had a plus 20 and I rolled a natural 1, would it misses, right?
In combat, yeah. It's a critical failure.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Natural 1 misses no matter what. A natural 20 hits no matter what.
Mhm.
Like if you were throwing a bottle at their head and your improvised weapon is like -2 or whatever, but you roll a natural 20 and their armor class is 21, it still hits them. And still does double damage.
So you heard it here first, folks. You got to roll those. By the way, creator of the Nerf thing, I was joking about liking my version better than yours. Whatever your name was.
Harlequizzical.
Harlequizzical, right. Yeah, it was a pretty good name. Yeah, I like yours because it is what you would expect. I like mine too, though. Maybe I do like mine better. Maybe I do. I'm sorry if I do.
You're just a Star Wars nerd.
Yeah, you can tell from my shirt.
Yeah, your shirt really indicates that you love Star Wars. I just think it's hilarious. And, I'm just thinking about all the people who are only listening to this.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what your shirt says.
Yeah, they probably won't even look. I'll just cover it for the rest of the episode after this, and they'll never know.
They'll have to watch the whole thing over again.
Watch the whole thing over again. Oh,
yeah, I know.
A fate worse than death.
Potentially.
Depends on how bad death is.
We don't know, do we?
No.
We should ask somebody who's died.
We should get them on the show.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to do a setup with guests. I mean, well, right now, at this very moment, listen. Right now, with the way that this room is, you guys are seeing
the only
clean part of the room.
The only part of the room is
you
clean.
Can't take a single step in any direction.
No.
You can't. You just have to jump over things.
Well, you can't really see the floor, but there's almost no floor to.
Yeah, you're not missing anything because
yeah.
you can't. We can't see the floor. You can't see the floor. Nobody can see the floor.
Nobody can see the floor.
I don't know how Basket gets through here.
It's not quite that bad, but there's a lot of stuff on the floor.
There's a lot of stuff on the floor.
But to their defense, they're moving things around still to like reorganize.
Yeah, the room is a mess because we're not done reorganizing. And we won't be until the end of the month, by the way. And end of next month.
I was going to say, well, the end of the month is tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I kind of assumed you meant the end of next month.
Yep, we will not be done until then.
Because that's when Anna gets her new desk, right?
Yeah. Well, that's like the soonest we got to get out to IKEA. IKEA's got, maybe in next episode we'll talk about IKEA.
I'm sure Colin will listen to that one.
It's amazing. IKEA's great, guys. And you should go there. If you want to understand what is good about the world, you've got to go to IKEA.
I've never been there,
Mm-hmm.
but Austin almost sort of invited me the next time that he goes.
Yeah, you can come. That'd be great.
I would want to. Hopefully, it depends, I guess.
Bring a car with a lot of trunk space.
I'll have to take everything out of my trunk.
Just bring a bigger car.
I might be able to borrow my dad's truck.
Just rent a U-Haul truck. They're $20.
Really?
Like a pickup truck, yeah.
You can
rent $20 plus gas plus mileage. So it's not really $20, but it's $20 for a day.
Plus mileage.
Yeah, the mileage factors in somehow. I don't remember.
How do they calculate that?
They just check the odometer before and after.
Well, sure, but do they tell you how much per mile it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you can also rent one down there and just drive it back and leave it here. Did you know about this with the U-Hauls?
Well,
you can do one-way rentals.
But I didn't. Well, right, I know that.
Okay.
But I didn't. Oh, like I would ride with you there.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like,
there's going to be space for plenty of people in the car because it's going to be a big car. I think we're going to take my mom's van or something.
Gotcha.
Because that's what we usually do, and we fill up the entire back of it.
Cool.
Yeah. There's a bunch of furniture that we then get to put together.
I know. That's
like
the fun
this,
part.
And this and that.
I did. Okay. So I have put together IKEA furniture.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
It's great.
It actually is fun because the like mechanics behind how some of them work are fascinating.
Yes.
I helped put together Colin and Carly's bed,
Mhm.
and there was like this thing where it was like this metal wheel, and you like put something through a hole, and then you put the wheel over top of it, and then you take an Allen wrench and you like crank it in, and it like grabs onto it and pulls it into it. And I'm like, what? I'm like, whoa! It's I don't even know how to explain it actually, but it's so interesting. How do they
Mhm.
make it so cheap?
Because you put it together.
Yeah, but there's all that engineering that had to go into like making it so that you could do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they use super cheap materials. Like they're not terrible quality or whatever. I mean, they're not wood, or things like that.
Right.
So if you want something that's very like wood, this isn't like wood. But
well, okay. So the thing is,
they do actually have wooden furniture and stuff. They have fancier stuff too. But
because their stuff, if you buy something from Walmart, it's harder to put together.
Yep.
And worse quality. And in a lot of cases, more expensive. So how do they do that?
Because IKEA is actually, I don't know if you knew this, it's a Swedish word, which means cheap.
Cool.
Actually, it's Swedish for like meatballs or something. I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Swedish for meatballs.
Dude, listen, that's the other thing about IKEA. And I don't know what things are going to look like at the end of May. And I'm happy to say that because, oh my God, if we can go to the food court in IKEA, I think it's open now. The one nearest to us, I think they're serving food there.
How far away is the one nearest to us, by the way?
Pittsburgh.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the closest one?
Yeah.
Isn't Pittsburgh?
There might be one in Cleveland, but I think it's Pittsburgh.
I think that on our side of Cleveland, there's one, which would be a lot closer.
Maybe. But not better.
Oh, well, I don't know. I've never been.
It's on the very northern end of Pittsburgh, though.
Well, still.
But yeah.
The very eastern part of Cleveland is closer than the very northern part.
Yeah, I guess I should look it up and see what the closest one is. Because the 2-hour drive there and back, that limits how long you can walk around in the store.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You want to maximize your IKEA time.
You do want to maximize. Like the little room setups that they've got in there, they're great. They're awesome.
I'm sure they are.
I've seen the inside of a Japanese IKEA on a video. I haven't seen it.
Oh, I was going to say, did you go?
I will someday figure out how to drag Anna into a Japanese IKEA. Because she's like, no, I don't want to do stuff that we can just do at home. But I think it's going to be different. I think it's going to be mostly the same, but a little different. Just like the Wendy's and McDonald's that we went to while we were there. Come on.
The McDonald's that I went to when I was in China, it was actually interesting. I got a McFlurry, but they don't have flavored ice cream there. It's just like it's just ice cream, unflavored ice cream.
Yeah,
like cream.
Do their ice cream machines break?
No. Well, maybe. The one I was at, it was fine though.
Oh, okay.
But it had Oreos in it too, so it just tasted like cookies and cream, like it should. It was great.
Yeah,
I can still taste it right now as I'm talking. I can remember what it tastes like. Brush your teeth, dude. I haven't brushed my teeth since I was 17, and in China.
Oh my God, that's almost 10 years now, man.
I know, it's close. Actually, this summer, 10 years.
Yeah.
This summer, yeah.
Yeah.
That I would have been in China. I still have all my stuff though. Sometimes I pull out the pictures and the stuff that I have from
next year?
Yeah.
Next year we will have been adults for 10 years. Like legal adults.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's true.
I don't know what to do about that.
Who let that happen?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like something should have killed us by now.
Probably.
Maybe like, I don't know, like aliens, like
asteroid.
Yeah. Dinosaurs come back. Maybe they're the villains. The villains that come back at the end of the podcast episode. I don't know.
Maybe.
It looks like we're blasting off again, guys. We'll see you next time.
Looks like a mountain to me.
No. No.
I told myself I was going to do that once this episode.
I don't know if that's going to make it in or not. I just don't know.
Oh, come on.
It's close, dude. It's pretty close.
What do you mean it's close?
I mean, I don't know if it's going to make it in or not.
You put a post-credit scene into the last one.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I did. What do you mean you don't know if it'll make it in?
Look, I do not have any control
yes,
over
you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
You think that I make this decision? No, that's future me.
Oh.
Future me picks what to do.
Okay. I don't know what that guy's
He can
crazy.
do whatever he wants.
That guy's crazy. You never know what he's gonna do.